across the country. And what site selectors and developers do is they try and match their clients with available buildings or land that they may want to relocate or start a business or move a business, whatever they want to do. So one of the things we do is market to those. We have a list of about 1,500 site selectors across the country where we will be able to market these properties. We will also continue to make matches with the businesses that we already work with. And I think it's really important for you as residents to know and understand that these are underutilized or vacant. And if you have an idea or you know someone has an idea, if you're a business that's looking to expand or grow, these are all great opportunities. And you are a great voice for that, especially those of you that are doing business here. You know that it's a good place to do business, and that's something that's really important to share. So I think there's a lot of marketing opportunities. The first step was making sure that we understood and knew what was vacant, what was underutilized, and how it was zoned. And so I think those steps are complete, and now we can move on to the next phase.
All right, next question from Mr. Nelson. How can the community help with this economic development strategy?
Well, first off, you're doing it right now. Showing up is really a big first step. Just coming to events. When we announce things that we're going to be talking about with the community, just showing up. We want your opinions on things. If you want to come by my office, I'm right up on the second floor of City Hall. If you want to talk to me, I'm usually in my office. Patronizing businesses downtown, that's a real big thing for economic development. For those businesses to survive, they need your patronage. So supporting local businesses, going to the Vista events, letting your friends know in Ishpeming or Marquette or Gwynn or even downstate, oh, the Vista is doing this awesome show. Come to the Vista and come check things out. Just being involved in the community, join boards, join commissions. If you like the parks, join the Parks Commission. If you like the library, join the library board. There's plenty of opportunities for community members to get involved. And having great community involvement makes a great community. So I would just suggest be involved. Just be involved with something. Even if it's the Lions, the Elks, just be involved with the club. It keeps you around the community, and they do great things as well.
Thank you. Well, we're at that part of our program now where if the audience has any questions, now's the time to get your cards into the staff members. We'll take about 10 or 15 minutes to answer these questions. If we don't get to them all, depending on how many there are, what we will do is we'll put them on our website, City and County's website. And as a matter of fact, we'll put all the questions that were already asked and those that may not be answered here today. But we have a couple here. I'm going to put this one to you, Mr. Nelson. The question is, why don't we go after more grants to help pay for playgrounds?
So, with that, we're just working on getting that property maintenance code passed. So once the property maintenance code is passed, I will be able to enforce that. And then once I will be able to enforce that, then we can go after monies because I'll have something on the books saying that I can go after said properties. And then we'll be able to work with those business owners, identify grants that will help remove the blight, which I know there are some businesses, well, vacant buildings, so to say, downtown that do need some help. So once that gets passed, I'll be able to work with those people and try to get buildings, as I'm gonna say the Kirkwood because it's on everybody's mind. It's just sitting there, it's big, it needs some work. So things like that, we're going to have to figure out a way very creatively because buildings like that, you can't just put in like $100,000 and that building's fine. That's almost a $2 million project. So identifying funds, both private and public, to rehab a building like that is going to take some time. But I have been working on that if people are interested in that.
Yeah, I'd just like to chime in on a new opportunity that I'm excited about that we're actually going to be working on the City of Negaunee with, and that's MSHDA's that's the Michigan State Housing Development Authority's Neighborhood Enhancement Program. And so what we're looking to do with that is it's an opt-in program for some households in adjacent neighborhoods to the downtown, and they could opt into this program for things that are potentially like siding, painting, roof, windows, things like that, and looking to work with some of the homes that are more in need of that. So that's a really exciting opportunity that we're hopefully going to be working with soon.
Okay. The other part of that question from this was have someone paint the viaduct. It's shabby looking. That is in the works as well too. But the other part is what is the plan, overall plan to make the town more attractive? Maybe.
Well, we're formulating that right now. So if you want something done or you have a great idea, just make sure you show up to the meetings for the streetscape. We've had several of those so far. The authority of the planning stage of that is going to be turned over to the DDA, and they're going to be announcing some meeting dates for folks to be involved. Truly, we want to definitely have the DDA be the drivers of this because it's the business owners in the downtown that own all those properties. So, in my opinion, they should have the majority of the say on that. But we also want to get everyone else to have their opinion on there as well because it's your community too. So there isn't a clear-cut answer to that, but we're formulating that, and I suggest everybody who's interested in that to show up that so you can be part of the process of what our community will look like here for the next 100 years.
Thank you. Our next question is, bear with me, it's fairly lengthy. Hypothetically, as an investor developer, I buy a building downtown for $50,000. I jump through all the hoops and I do all the paperwork to invest another $100,000 of my own, and then I get a matching grant for another $100,000. $250,000 later, and a lot of work, we have a nice renovated building. Now, what will make others want to buy or lease that space? And what will make businesses want to be here?
First off, you're not going to get $100,000 from anybody if you don't have your own business to go in there first. I can tell you that. That's a very slim chance. MEDC is very focused on working with current business owners, and there's a whole complicated thing you got to go through. To be honest, I wouldn't be that interested in trying to just work with somebody who wants to turn around, put money in there with a grant, and then just try to sell it to capitalize the most money they can off of it. Those grants aren't designed for that, and that's not what the state of Michigan and the city would be interested in. We're looking for people who want to invest in this community. And sure, yes, fixing the building up is investing, but when we say investment, I mean like totally in. So what we would be doing is trying to help shepherd you along to put a viable business in the downtown, find funding mechanisms to help you fix the building up to the standards that you want and that are required maybe under the law. So I'm not saying that those opportunities aren't out there where you might be able to get $100,000, but the MEDC for sure is not going to be looking for somebody who's getting in to fix the building just to sell it and turn around and sell that building like that.
I guess I would also add that when you get into rehabbing buildings or starting a business or anything like that, you need a plan. So to go into it just to rehab a building to just then try and figure out what next is not the way you want to tackle it. You want to take a look at what are those costs, what are those opportunities for incentives, and to set some realistic expectations. Incentives aren't easy to come by, and they're tax dollars typically. So there's a lot of hoops, and rightfully so, it's tax dollar money, but sometimes it's more hassle than it's worth at the end of the day. And so you have to weigh out those options as what you can and can't do with those dollars and what the reporting is from those dollars. So I would suggest if you're looking at a building, take a look at what might be a viable business in there. Talk to somebody you know that's looking to expand or start a business. What does the top few floors look like? Could it be housing? Could it be apartments? Could it be seasonal rentals? Whatever it might be, all goes into your business plan for you to find out if that's a viable thing to do before you tackle it.
I want to also add that you won't be out there by yourself doing this. Again, the money's have to be channeled through the city. So we're going to be working with you hand in hand. So if anybody out there is looking to buy a building or refurbish it, don't be afraid of the big bad wolf. We're here to help you. QPAD, in fact, has helped with the Tino's and Smarties project. We try to make it seamless as possible, but there are some hoops. In fact, those grants that are administered through the MEDC for these facade projects have to be administered through somebody who's certified. So I'm not certified in that circumstance. No one on my staff is, so we have our partnership with QPAD to make that happen. And they've been doing a very good job of that, in my opinion.
Okay, thank you. This next one, Sunburg vacant lot, DFW Post 3165 needs parking. In fact, it says the Jake Betty Best canceled their Christmas meal at the Hills to us. Members have been complaining about what's been going on over here. What's the solution? I'll direct that to Nate first and then Dave.
Well, Don, I'm going to answer that question. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to say that I'm not going to let Dave answer that question. Unfortunately, we can't really say much on what's going on there right now. That issue is under litigation. So until that issue is taken off the table, we're going to hold off on answering any questions with that, just because that's the nature of the beast at this point. So hopefully we respect that. So, as for the, I won't comment on the Sunburg lot, but one of the things we are looking to help with the VFW hall over there would be up on Rail Street. There's a new business that has been working their tail off to get in there and really clean up this building, putting a lot of their own money into it. They're not taking any grants or anything, so I commend those folks here tonight helping make that happen. Really, when we start looking at investing into new infrastructure around our city, streets come to mind to everybody because there's potholes everywhere. It's a pandemic across the state. So we need to invest our money wisely. From my perspective, and this is only my perspective, and this will be part of the streetscape plan, I feel part of Rail Street over the viaduct over to Gold Street is a street that's not worth keeping a street. What I'd like to see happen there is maybe turn that more into parking to accommodate the new business that will be coming in, and maybe eventually accommodating some of the DFW parking over there. So that's one solution. There's more down the road possibly, but we have to wait until we get out of litigation to see where that might lead us to.
No, we'll be working on that with the streetscape plan.
This one here is a comment, which I will try to go into a question, I guess. Please consider giving homeowners an incentive to improve their property. Their property with a tax break or some other kind of benefit, rather than increasing their taxes for making our city look beautiful. I'll ask the question flat out. Is there anything out there at the statewide level that maybe you tap into to assist with that?
I don't know currently off the top of my head. I know that about a third of the city is reassessed every year. So that's something we'd have to look into. And I'm just going to leave it at that. We'd have to do more research on that to see if there's any availability of that out there. I would think off the top of my head there probably is not, but it's something that we can definitely look into since that question has been posed.
So I'll just kind of talk a little bit about the cycle of economic development when it comes to taxes, and why a plan like this is so important in driving more economic development in the city is because the more businesses that you have that are paying taxes, the more taxable revenue that the city has to work with. The more that they have to work with, the more that they can do the things that you're talking about, whether it be with parks or parking lots and things like that. And then that makes and continues to make an attractive community. And what do people want with an attractive community? It attracts people and attracts businesses, and then you start the cycle all over again. So I think when you look at more of the tax base and improvement in paying taxes, the better you can make your business community, the more sound they can be, the better off your community will be in the long run.
All right, we have about 5 minutes left. Are there any other questions out there? Or? None? All right. We do have one there? Okay.
Steve, I know your voice is loud enough just to ask the question.
Stand up.
Yes, there is to a certain extent. We are doing some rezoning where we feel it would be appropriate along the rail corridor for possible industry. I just want to put out there that the notion that you'll get a lot of industry coming to your community is not very high anymore. However, it's not going to be taken off the table because we want to have every opportunity we possibly can. And there are some other industries that are out there that are kind of rearing their head, and we'll have to find out how this community wants to respond to those new industries that are coming out there. And we'll be putting some questionnaires out to see how that goes. And I speak chiefly about medical marijuana facilities and things like that. So we are doing some work on that. I would say one of the biggest areas that we're trying to get inroads in would be in tourism.
Okay. Anybody else have a question? Yes.
Can anything be done with the old park that used to have about 35 where you can cross the railroad on that? After that during the summer that they up in West Michigan, I know a lot of old people that go away for the winter, come back during the summer, and spend their time up there.
The question is the old Jackson Grove area there, is there anything that's being considered to be done there?
Yes, there's something being considered right there. I would say this will be another question that will come to the folks here in town. You'll be looking at something hopefully on the ballot pretty soon. There's interest from the school to purchase the tennis courts from the community or to get ownership of those, revitalize those back into tennis courts and keep them active. They have a very active tennis program. We're looking at trying to possibly sell those lots for housing. If we did do that, we'd have to do permission of the voters. The other thing that would be out there too would be we'd have to have some type of a development agreement. I'm not going to ever sell a piece of property to somebody unless they sign an agreement that they're going to develop something in a short time and then tell me how much money they're going to be worth afterwards so we can tax them. It doesn't make sense to give somebody property away for cheap and then they'll hold on to it for a couple of years and try to make a mint off of it on our expense. So there will be things happening in those regards. And as for your camping idea, there is something in the works from a private industry standpoint, which hopefully will be forthcoming in the next few months that I can make a big announcement on. That's all I can say at that point, so you get a little bit more out of me tonight.
Okay, we got time for one more question. Anybody have one? Anybody up top? No? Okay. Well, then that will conclude our presentation tonight on the City of Negaunee's Economic Development Strategy. Now, again, I want to thank you all for coming out tonight. Really, really am happy to see how many people came out for this. I want to thank Lake Superior Community Partnership and all of the staff for putting this on today. I'd like to give a round of applause for them. Last but not least, we're going to have right off over here in the cafeteria, we'll have some refreshments. We encourage you all to mosey on in there, and the panelists and others will be in there to answer any questions that you may have if you want to ask them in the general public session. Again, thank you very much for coming out, and have a good evening.